Hello teachers, welcome again to this new tutorial 5 Desmos activity using new updated platform. So for maths classroom activities, let's get started. Please sign in on teacherdesmos.com and watch previous tutorials if you haven't. Send me some feedback or let me know which particular activity you are looking for. So today I'm going to use a random generator to create new problems using a button. So you press the button and you create new problems each time, like graphs or simple expressions. So different problems for each student you can assign. So you go to home, custom, create new activity, and you can give your title. For example, I'm giving activity 2 for teachers, and you can describe about your activity. For example, we can say solving equations, because this is only for teachers, so let me specify for teachers. Create new activity, press the button, and you will see a wonderful new updated Desmos platform with more flexibility and more options to add on. So if you want to learn, there is one link over there. You can go and learn for more things. Graphs, nodes, they are more or less similar, but they have made it more flexible, and we have more options. Like we can add multiple nodes, we can add multiple inputs, marble sliders, etc., multiple buttons. So for example, I'm inserting a note. So write down anything like welcome or whatever. Okay, let me teach you one more thing here. If you go to home, okay, you will see some ready-made slides from Desmos for your starter screens, like in the beginning of the lesson. Okay, so you just click on there, and you can view it like a student preview, and you can see there are different options for you guys to use. What we are going to use, I'm going to copy this from here. So there's a button, copy from here and paste in our activity. Okay, so use Control V please, because otherwise you cannot paste it here. So you can view it here like that, and students can write something in the beginning of the class. And you can use this trick for any slide from other teachers also. Like from my activities, you can just go and copy and paste it in your own activity. So anyway, let's get started, and we can learn something to generate new numbers or random numbers, which we can use to generate new equations, new expressions, or new graphs. Okay, what we need to do, we have a note, we go to the computation layer, okay, to edit, to do some coding there. So the first thing I'm going to use, there is a random generator function available for you. We need to use variables here. So because otherwise you need to type random generator every time. So I'm giving a name for this, like r equals to random generator. And then I'm going to use some numbers. For example, I'm using a as r dot, because r is defined and integer, and there are two options for you, integer or float. I'm going to use integer, and there are two things you need to enter, first value and the last value. Similarly, I'm generating b, like r dot integer from one particular value to second value. You can generate c, you can generate d, like r, a, b, c, all are my variables. Okay, so I'm going to use these variables to create one equation. So I'm defining one new variable here. For example, let's say eq, equation, equals to. Always use equals to when you define a variable. Use the double quoted mark, okay, the the inverted comma style. We are using this dollar sign and the curly brackets, okay, the curly parenthesis, to insert the variables. So we have to use dollar, and then in the parenthesis you put the variable you have defined already, like a b and x square plus bx plus c, whatever. Okay, so for example, we have a quadratic equation here. Now to show this, we have to use a content command, and of course in the inverted commas we need to use again the variable. Okay, but I'm going to use the single quote. Okay, and inside dollar and then inside the parenthesis I'm going to use the variable was EQ. So you can see here random generator, A, B, C are variables, EQ is also the variable. Okay, so I'm writing here, and you can see this activity. I will attach in the description so that you can see all the codes. So the dollar sign and the curly brackets are used when you want to insert your variable in your content. Okay, press preview, you can see a problem, but we can't generate new problem. Like this will help you for students. Now I need to generate each problem like a new problem. So I'm going to insert a button. Okay, rename it. For example, it's your wish, whatever you want to give. I'm giving a button 1, and on a try it I'm going to write new problem. So when a student will press new problem, he will or she will get the new problem. What you have to do, go to random generator, in the parenthesis type button 1 dot press count. Okay, I'm showing you again, button 1 dot press count. Now it will help every time you press, it will generate a new number. You can see here, so 9x 975 etc. So it's a good thing actually. So students can try different problems, and you can assign to your students different problems on online tests. Okay, let's use some graphs now. So I'm inserted graph and note. So I'm going to define one quadratic here. So I'm defining like a random number a and b. These are my roots of quadratic, for example. So as you know, if I use s as a plus b, the sum of roots, and p is the product, I want to generate a and b. I don't want to generate s and b because they are dependent. Okay, so I'm going to use those two things here, x squared minus sx plus p, so that I can see the graph. Okay, and if you would like to see the roots, you can put in the simple like a0 and b0, and you can label them if you want. Okay, so we are going to use a and b as two random generators, which will generate a new sum and new product. Of course, we will get a new quadratic. Okay, so again, use the button. So button 2, for example, and a new problem I'm writing there. Now go back to the graph. You can label graph as well, graph 1 or graph 2 or whatever it is. So let's make it 2. Yeah, so not 2, graph 2, everything is there. Go to computation level graph. Now here I'm going to generate again the same thing, like r equals the random generator. The r is variable. Okay, I can use any other number as well, so r is the simple. And of course button 2 dot press count. Now the numbers a and b are already there in the graph, but I want to change them each time. So you need to use this special command number and then a, and then you put that r dot int. Similarly with the b, because these are generated numbers, like every time you press the button you will get a new number. If you don't type number, you won't get new numbers each time. For example, s and p, we don't need to use as a number. Okay, they are already defined over there. So I'm going to use s is graph2 dot number dot the letter we have to use, like s or p, whatever. So similarly with p, now let's generate the equation. So another variable EQ, for example, again I'm using the quotation marks and then dollar sign. Okay, because I want to make use of those variables. So for example, x squared minus sx plus p equals to 0. That will be our equation. We can make it colored as well. For example, EQ1 and same quotation mark, double backslash, text color. This is the command to give you color. There are two things. In the first parenthesis you have to use the name of the color, and in the second you use the variable. Don't forget to use variable, you have to use dollar and curly sign. Okay, so we can see here, we can see the graph, but we cannot see the expression because we need to define in the content. So go to note and define the content. So quotation mark, and here I'm using the single backslash. Remember, to convert any math expression we have to use the single quotation mark, and inside of course the dollar and then variable, whatever. So we can see here, if we cannot see, it means there's a problem. So go and change it. So let's do it with EQ1. So let's take just EQ, or you go there to see if there is any mistake. Okay, so everything is correct here, but I think it's not taking the color from the graph to the content. So erase that EQ and just type EQ. So you can see now. Yeah, so we forgot to put X, so we change. So you can see x square minus 7x minus 10, the roots are there. Every time you press, a new graph will be generated and new problems will be there. Okay, we can use define colors definitely. Let me show you again here. So again, the two backlashes, text color, two curly parentheses. In the first one you put the name of the color, for example blue. In the second one we can use we have to use the variable defined already. For example, it was graph2.script eq1 or eq2, whatever it was. So you can just erase that and just type the new variable we have defined, eq2. Okay, yes, you will see in colors. See, it's in blue color. So guys, try it, random generator, and different things you can do using different buttons and different options. Thanks for watching. Please leave your comments or ask for a particular activity you want to learn.